Welcome to this new video about Forza Horizon 6, in which we're going to talk about something that apparently lets you be faster than other players without glitching or cheating. Here, we're talking about tuning, but no, not car tuning. Because we've known for years that in Forza Horizon, a well-tuned car is much faster than an untuned one, but actually about game settings that could make you faster, help you optimize your chances of winning races in multiplayer, and also improve your chances of getting better lap times. In Rivals mode or in Time Trial mode. For several weeks since Forza Horizon 6 was released, people have said the game is more sensitive to controller settings than earlier Forza Horizon titles. In Forza Horizon 3, 4, or 5, you could already adjust your controller settings separately from the steering wheel settings, and that made driving with a controller a bit more enjoyable and a little more realistic, without necessarily gaining much in terms of performance. Well, it seems that in Horizon 6 things have changed a bit, and that it has more impact on driving than in the older Forza Horizon games, and that it could actually make you a bit faster. So what we're going to do today is test these famous controller settings, the ones used by professional Forza Horizon 6 players. And we're going to do a little before and after comparison. What we're going to do is start by recording 3 or 4 laps in time trial mode on one of the tracks in the game. For example, the Yokubo time trial. We'll record a few lap times on it, just to get an average of the times we achieve. We'll first use a standard controller on Forza Horizon 6, then repeat with adjusted controller settings that I'll show you. That way, you can test them for yourselves and we'll see if there's really a difference in performance. And for your information, as for the controller, I'm using the Forza Horizon 5 Thrustmaster iSwap controller, which is indeed a controller designed for playing racing games. It's a controller that's a bit more responsive and, let's say, much more durable in the long run than traditional controllers. We'll use the same controller afterward to test the settings precisely. But what I meant by that is that the settings we're going to talk about here today can be used for all controllers, and would work for any controller. No matter if you're using an Xbox controller, an Elite controller, or other Xbox-compatible controllers, it's the same. So, I did 3 or 4 more laps. I can't lower my lap time anymore. My lap time is 59.267, and I think the average of my last 3 or 4 laps was around 59.5 seconds roughly. That's before adjusting controller settings. Now, go to Advanced Controls in your controller settings. It's the same menu used for steering wheel settings, except that when your steering wheel isn't connected, you have other options that appear. And especially, what's really cool about Forza Horizon 6 is that you can have custom settings for your controller. And if you plug in a steering wheel, the game detects it and restores your wheel settings. The settings I'm going to show you come from the YouTube channel of Johnson Racing. He's a professional Forza player. So, these are his settings. That's how he plays Forza Horizon. He recommends setting the lower limit of the steering angle to 0. This makes sure that all the movements you make with your joystick to turn are instantly recognized and understood by the game. If you have a higher value, the game actually gives you a little tolerance because by default, the developers considered that sometimes you might move your thumb a bit on the controller's joystick without necessarily wanting to turn at the same time. Some slightly involuntary movements. This limit is meant for that. The higher it is, the more tolerant the game will be with these involuntary movements, and the less it will interpret them in-game as an actual change in direction. We're going to change the upper limit from 90 to 100. This will simply help you turn with more precision, because by default, Forza Horizon 6 is set to 90, which means that when you're only at 90 on your joystick on either side, the game will think that you want to turn very, very hard, very, very fast, and it will consider that you actually want to turn at 100 even if your joystick still has a little bit of room left. Well, setting it to 100 removes that gap between 90 and 100%. And actually, it allows you to have a wider range of precision to be able to adjust. Let's say with more precision how much steering angle our car will have between the moment when the joystick is perfectly straight and the moment when it's fully turned in one direction. We'll also use these settings for the acceleration and braking buttons. What they call deceleration is actually the brake. For exactly the same reasons, this will allow the game to react more quickly when we start pressing one of those buttons, while still giving them more range at higher values so we can precisely control the acceleration or braking we want. And we're also going to adjust the steering linearity, changing it from 50 to 55. By default, when it's set to 50, the game gives equal importance to every tiny millimeter you move your joystick, whether it's near the center or all the way to the edge. The lower you set this number, the more the game will consider it very important to react instantly. When you make small movements on your controller, and the higher you set it, the more the game will give importance to the directions you're asking it to go. When you move really far from the center of the joystick, let's say. I'm not sure if that's very clear. And the less importance it will give. Well, to the small movements, Basically, with this kind of controller setting, I think that if you're a really good player, if you have a lot of precision in your steering and in managing acceleration and braking, you'll really be able to not be limited by the game anymore and really make full use of your talent, all your potential. On the other hand, it's a bit of a double-edged sword in the sense that, well, if you're not super precise with your joystick and not super precise with your acceleration or braking, you'll also end up losing a lot more time in the corners because, well, you'll make involuntary movements with your car, which will obviously affect your car's performance and your final time. Now, in this case, I expected it to be better, but I didn't expect it to be this much better, because here, on the first lap or the second lap we did, we gained 3 or 4 tenths of a second, and now we're at 7 tenths. Potentially gained. And here, we gained another 4 or 5 tenths on the lap, really without making any special effort. Just because the car, well, reacts faster to all the little things we ask it to do. So here, it's true that there's a small difference that's not up to me. It's the fact that earlier we set a time on a road that was a little bit damp. And now, I think that even though it's winter, the road is still perfectly dry. Well, or maybe not, actually, since it's starting to snow again and the road is wet again, so it's perfect. We'll be able to do some more timed laps in exactly the same conditions. Listen, I feel like we're even faster. We did exactly 56 seconds, which is still a second and a half better than our previous time in the same conditions, with the rain and everything. Well, with the wet road anyway. Just with the controller setting being different. So yes, in my opinion, it allows you to make a pretty noticeable difference. Yes, it's possible to save time in corners, in braking, even when accelerating the car again. Clearly, it unlocks the potential you have in the game. It really allows you to fully use your driving skills. We're going to try something out of curiosity. So far, it's worked well for normal driving and for going faster, giving us more precision and responsiveness from the controller. But I wonder if it also works for drifting. Is there a way to maybe do even more, maybe have cars that respond even better when drifting with these settings? We're going to test that. I'm going to take my Mazda Mad Mic with exactly the same setup I used a few days ago in the video. We did the drift zone, that's right in front of us, the one we're going to do. We scored 380,000 points. Let's see if now is the time we can do a little better. In these cases, it would be really interesting to apply these settings, because it means we could technically be faster, but also better at drifting. Honestly, I do think it makes things a bit more difficult with these controller settings. Every tiny movement you make with the joystick makes the car turn more than usual, which means that, potentially, it's a bit more complicated. Which means that sometimes, it throws the car a bit too much, more than I wanted in the corner. And then, in the end, I have to compensate more in the other direction just to catch the car. So, at first glance, the benefit is mainly noticeable in racing, maybe a bit less for drifting. But maybe there's also a way to have special controller settings for drifting. In any case, I hope the settings I shared here will help you. If they do, feel free to show your support for my channel for free. You can give my channel a little boost by leaving a like and subscribing for future videos. Feel free to follow me on Twitch, where I also do a lot of live streams on Forza Horizon 6. We regularly do races and that kind of thing, so come follow, come subscribe with Prime, it always makes me happy. And don't forget that if you're watching this video, you'll also find my affiliate link, which lets you buy your games for less while giving my channel a little boost at the same time. Thank you for watching this video. See you very soon for another one. Bye!